Latest data from some job matching platforms show the number of roles surging in some sectors like tech. Still, they say the job market may be tough for potential employees, with the number of applicants increasing by even more. Caitlin Ng with more.
Job uncertainty has become the new normal, with the global economy experiencing slow growth. But signs are pointing to recovery. Singapore's employment rate grew at a faster pace in the third quarter of this year compared with the last. Still, latest job postings data from professional networking site LinkedIn show competition for jobs has heated up.
LinkedIn's data shows that job postings has increased by 3% since September last year. At the same time, the number of job seekers has grown even faster at 11%. This means that job seekers will feel the market is tougher to land a job. Furthermore, in this landscape, skills and jobs are changing very fast.
That's as AI is changing the way people work and creating new jobs. The data reflects this shift, with tech job postings rising for 18 consecutive months, fueled by demand for new tools and digital services. Job matching platform Indeed has seen bright spots in other sectors as well. Its latest figures show hospitality and tourism roles surging by nearly 65% since June. Overall, the platform recorded a 1% increase last month, ending 2 months of decline. Still, Indeed says this upward trend may moderate.
Well, there's certainly a sense that the job market is cooling a little bit. We know that hiring intentions are down a little bit as well, and that's consistent with what we're seeing on the Indeed platform. I think a lot of businesses are concerned around the global economic environment, which has certainly become a little less predictable this year.
Indeed's data also shows that Singapore's job figures have been trending down over the past 3 years. Mr. Pickering says this is largely due to the drop in momentum following the post-pandemic hiring boom. Some experts say this slowdown bears watching, as job postings are a key indicator of the labour market's health. They say that measures like government-sponsored traineeships could go some way in supporting the labour market.
This traineeship definitely is good to boost the job market, particularly if many businesses, companies, organizations are reluctant to take on new employees, that the saving in the cost is definitely an incentive. But on the other hand, having too many traineeships actually distort market forces, because it's not a real reflection of the demand conditions for jobs.
Prof Low cautions that while such traineeships can offer short-term relief, they can't be a permanent solution. He says the schemes need to be carefully calibrated to avoid distorting the market and to ensure job seekers aren't left vulnerable if support is scaled back.
And for more analysis, we're joined by Associate Professor Terence Ho. He is Deputy Executive Director at the Institute for Adult Learning at the Singapore University of Social Sciences and Adjunct Associate Professor in Practice at the NUS Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. Terence, welcome to the show. Now, let's start with the report earlier. Now, we've seen a rise in job postings, but also in job seekers. Do you think this is a sign of a healthy job market?
Yeah, I think the rise in job postings could be in part as what has been identified due to the new skills demand in areas such as AI. But overall, if we look at the MOM figures that were just released last week, the labour market advance figures, the job market is holding up overall. It's proving resilient. Overall employment grew and retrenchments remained low and stable. But that said, some caution is warranted as well, because there are signs that, for instance, the proportion of firms that are planning wage increases has been declining, and hiring sentiment has also been uneven and is weaker in certain outward-oriented sectors, such as professional services and wholesale trade. So while the overall labour market is holding up, I think that there's some unevenness and some headwinds in certain sectors.
And speaking of which, are we seeing the structural mismatches in Singapore's labour market? And if so, how might that then constrain our labour market recovery?
So I think any time of technological change, there are bound to be some mismatches. For instance, even within tech roles, there are many concentrated in AI, in data, in cybersecurity, and not everyone who is tech trained may necessarily have the specific skills that are required. And if we look at the overall labour market, the unevenness in growth that I mentioned could also play a role in certain structural mismatches. So for example, if because of AI or external trade shocks, people are displaced from, let's say, ICT sector or wholesale trade, some of these professionals may not find it so easy to enter other sectors where there's stronger underlying growth, such as in healthcare or social services, either because of the skills mismatch or the wage expectations. So this could result in overall some structural mismatch overall.
Now, a lot has been said about youth unemployment, but are we also seeing the older job seekers being left behind here?
So I think in the current environment where business and tech cycles are shortening, each workforce segment has its own challenges. For new workforce entrants, of course, the challenge is how they can add value to what automation and technology can bring without work experience. For the older workers and the mid-career workers, it's about how they can adapt to new job demands and how they can leverage their past experience to pivot to these new roles.
And as the competition for jobs heats up, do you see it affecting more mid-career or mature workers?
I would say so, because there have always been slightly more vulnerable segment of the workforce. And that's partly because some employers may perceive them to be somehow less adaptable to new technology or new job roles. So it's really whether they can convince employers to give them a chance. They can demonstrate that they are indeed adaptable, willing to pick up new skills to take on these new roles.
Now, there are some bright spots as well. The tech, tourism and hospitality sectors specifically are showing some promise. What more needs to be done to help workers to capitalize on these opportunities?
I think there's already a very strong ecosystem of support for skills training and reskilling in Singapore. And of course, there have been many enhancements over the years. But perhaps in two areas, there could be further evolution of support. One is how we can more tightly dovetail the support for business transformation and technology adoption with the support for job redesign, as well as worker training, to give a strong incentive to employers to actually redesign jobs and work processes with the human worker in mind. That means not rely solely on technology, automation, or AI, but to see how best human workers can complement technology. The other area is in how we can further personalize and make our system of employment and career support more nimble in view of the rapid changes in job requirements and in view of the more diverse workforce as well. So I think this is the heart of the efforts at Career Health and Resilience, really how we can make these services more personalized, that match individuals' career experience, the aspirations, the skills. And perhaps the government could also seek to enter into partnerships with the private sector to offer a wider variety of such services.
Well, Terence, thank you so much for your insights and sharing those with us. I've been speaking with Associate Professor Terence Ho from the Institute of Adult Learning and NUS Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy.